Krishna. Welcome to this series called Merciful and Loving Krishna. We will be doing three topics. We will discuss Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna's pastimes in Kurukshetra, in the battle of Mahabharat, and we'll also discuss practical life lessons that we could apply in our lives, by which we could also experience Krishna's presence in our lives. Because at the end of the day, devotees don't want to simply know that Krishna is great or Krishna is wonderful. We want to experience Krishna's sweetness. We want to experience Krishna in our lives. So these are the three topics we will discuss and we'll intersperse it in between. So now we'll begin discussing this topic, the merciful and loving Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, second chapter, text number 5, explains the power of what we are doing just now. What we are doing right now, this is being glorified in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So you can repeat this verse after me. Munaya sadhu prishtoham bhavadbir loka mangalam yat krita Krishna samprishno yenatma suprasidati. So the sages at Naimisharanya, led by Shaunaka Rishi, they are telling Sutta Goswami is telling them that, wow, beautiful questions you have asked, beautiful questions, sadhu, just like we say nowadays, wonderful, ecstatic, wow. Earlier, the language was sadhu. If they liked something, they would say sadhu. So Sutta Goswami says, sadhu, what a question you have asked. Because these questions, bhavadbir loka mangalam, these questions will bring about a welfare, auspiciousness in the whole human society. Why? What is so special about these questions? Yat krita Krishna samprishno. These questions are related to Krishna. What happens when you ask questions about Krishna and you discuss about Krishna? Yenatma suprasidati. The Atma, the soul, the self, becomes completely satisfied. That is the power of Krishna Katha. That is the power of discussing and glorifying Krishna. See, we cannot avoid questions and answers. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport how everybody is asking questions and everybody is seeking answers. And he gives a graphic example. As soon as we get up in the morning, we ask question. What is the news? Or Prabhupada says the birds get up in the morning and they ask questions. Where is food? Where is food? Children go to school, there is questions and answers. You go to the stock market, you ask questions. Parliament, legislators are asking questions and seeking answers. The press representatives are asking questions and seeking answers. Everybody is asking questions and seeking answers throughout the day. But we feel that vacuum. We don't feel completely satisfied because these questions are not related to Krishna. That is the Srimad Bhagavatam's verdict. So we need to glorify Krishna. Then we will find satisfaction. Questions about Krishna means questions about life. There is a beautiful pastime of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was in London, 1973, and he was called to give a lecture to the London Gujarati Society. So he was introduced by the chairman of the Gujarati Society. After the welcome, Srila Prabhupada came on the microphone and he began to first thank the chairman, and then he said, how did he begin the class? He said, when people meet each other, they ask, how are you? And they say, I'm fine. How are you doing? I'm fine. This is how we greet each other. How are you? I am fine. Then Srila Prabhupada paused. He said, but when great souls meet people, they don't ask, how are you? When devotees meet each other, they ask, how is your journey on conquering the cycle of birth and death going on? when Prabhupada said this, the chairman of the Gujarati Society who had introduced Srila Prabhupada, he was stunned. He realized, I never asked this question to anyone. How is the journey and the cycle of birth and death going on? And he became very thoughtful. And that moment, he brought Srimad Bhagavatam. He started reading and he joined the temple. And he was a Grahastha. He had got his daughters married. He had fulfilled all his responsibilities. And he went on to become one of the greatest teachers of Srimad Bhagavatam. He went on to become a sannyasi and a very famous guru in ISKCON. His name is His Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj. He is from Rajkot, Gujarat. And he has thousands of disciples. And he says that was the epoch moment. That moment changed his life. Asking questions about Krishna, asking questions about life, asking questions about self-realization. How often do we ask these questions? Most of our questions are regarding our eating, sleeping, sex life, and defending. But it is these questions that change our lives dramatically. In fact, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna is our most intimate friend. Krishna is our most intimate master. And forgetting Krishna, we have created so many objects of questions and answers. But none of these objects, none of these subjects can satisfy the soul. So therefore, this is a very beautiful verse which we have chanted just now, where it is emphatically declared by Sutta Goswami that questions and answers about Krishna will bring complete satisfaction of the soul. Which means what we are doing now, if we sincerely do this practice, we will find complete satisfaction. Now we need to also give a context or a connection to this verse. The Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the sages at Naimisharanya asking 6 questions to Sutta Goswami. They ask questions about what is the ultimate good for all humanity? Secondly, what is the essence of all scriptures? Then they want to know, why did Krishna appear in this world? These are the questions they ask. And then they ask, what are the activities of the Lord in creation? What are the activities of each incarnation of the Lord? And after Krishna left this world, where did religious principles take shelter of? So after asking all these questions, Shaunaka Rishi says something beautiful. He says, please, please don't stop discussing Krishna Katha. Vayam tuna vitrapyama uttama shloka vikrame yashrinvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. He says that we are never satisfied. We are completely satisfied. Which means Krishna Katha completely satisfies us, but we want more. And each time we hear Yashrinvatam Rasagyanam Swadu Swadu Pade Pade, at each step we get more and more taste. We get more and more juice in Krishna Katha. So therefore, in that purport also Srila Prabhupada said there is a great difference between transcendental literature and mundane literature. Because transcendental literature, Bhagavatam is like the light. In a dark room, when you switch on the light, what happens? All the darkness goes away. Similarly, when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam attentively, the darkness of ignorance, the confusion, it just evaporates and light of clarity dawns. You know, in fact, the practical application for this, which I would present here before we dive into the pastimes of Krishna, is that we need to have, if you don't have enthusiasm, like some of you may feel, okay, what's the big deal about Krishna? I don't feel so attracted to hearing about Krishna. So how do we understand this? How do we apply this principle of Srimad Bhagavatam in our life? Well, we apply it by practicing the principle of curiosity. Even if we're not enthusiastic to hear about Krishna, even if we're not enthusiastic in our spiritual practices, we can start to become curious. It's a very important principle. Children, have you seen children? They're very curious. If we develop that mood, then everything in spiritual life will make sense. There is one lecture of Srila Prabhupada I was hearing yesterday. Srila Prabhupada says, a devotee can chant whole day and he will never feel tired. I'll repeat this sentence. What does Prabhupada say? A devotee can chant Hare Krishna whole day and he will never feel tired. Well, I have a different experience. And when I heard that statement, I was shocked. Oh, really? If you chant whole day and you don't feel tired? So what do we do when we hear such statements? Prabhupada says a devotee will chant whole day and doesn't feel tired, but we feel tired. So a fanatic approach is to say, oh, Prabhupada says we don't feel tired, so Prabhupada is right, and we don't discuss it further. That is one fanatic way of taking it. The other is saying, well, Prabhupada says a devotee doesn't feel tired. I'm not a devotee. I'm fallen soul. That's why I feel tired. This is like false humility, you know. This is not for me. I'm so fallen that even holy name can't do anything for me. So let me not chant anyways. So there is two extremes. We are insecure and we dismiss any discussion, or we have false humility and we don't discuss. So the ideal way of approaching these kind of statements in scriptures is, like when we hear about, like what did we hear today? How hearing about Krishna will give happiness. Or Prabhupada says, we chant Hare Krishna, you never feel tired. When we hear these kind of statements, instead of passing judgments and not working hard, let us start practicing the principle of curiosity. Let us become curious to know, why is Srila Prabhupada saying this? What does a pure devotee feel when he chants Hare Krishna? How can Srila Prabhupada say that a devotee chants Hare Krishna and never feels tired? What is that level of bhakti where one feels like this? When we have this kind of curiosity, then our bhakti moves from a casual approach. Many of us have a very casual attitude to spiritual life. From casual, we enter the stage of commitment. And when we have a commitment to spiritual practice, then we experience connection with Krishna. So if you want to experience Krishna, if you want to have a connection with the Lord, then we have to move from a casual approach to a committed approach. And that commitment is what will give us a connection with Krishna. And therefore, all this begins with the curiosity mindset. What is it? How is Srila Prabhupada saying this? Asking questions, thinking about it, discussing with friends. Do you know the story, the famous story of Gautam Buddha? How he became Gautam Buddha? He was Prince Siddhartha. And he was destined to be either a great renunciant or a great king. So his parents ensured that he is never exposed to the hardships of this world. One day, Prince Siddhartha left the kingdom, left the palace with his minister. And on the streets he saw, do you know this story? What did he see? He saw an old man. He asked his charioteer, who is this old man? Why is he looking different? The charioteer said, he's an old man. What is old age? And then after some time, he met a diseased person who was shivering. And he asked, why is this man shivering? What is this? This is disease. What is disease? Why does everyone get diseased? Then he saw birth, finally he saw death. So this sparked off curiosity in him, this sparked off questioning in him. So we all can go through a journey and we can also arrive at our Prince Siddhartha moment in our life, where we ask serious questions about what is life, what is death. You know, therefore, in Bhagavatam, we approach all the lofty statements of scriptures. They appear lofty because we don't have a curiosity mindset. We have a dismissive mindset. Dr. Abdul Kalam, have you heard of his name? He was the president of India some years ago. So he was very popular with children. He would go to different schools and give discourses. And more than 5,000 lectures he has given to children all over the country. So he says, in one of the programs, I think this lecture is there on YouTube, one child is asking him a question in front of thousands of children. Who is the world's first scientist? And Abdul Kalam's answer gets a thunderous applause. He says, a child is the world's first scientist. He says, because the child has a curiosity mindset. The child's questions are always explorative. The child is always seeking answers. So when we come to Srimad Bhagavatam, when we come to Radha Neel Madhav, when we come in front of Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, when we come in a satsang program, we need to have this curiosity mindset. So Dr. Abdul Kalam gave the example that he would always answer children's questions, but once one child asked him a question and he couldn't answer at all. One child said that there is so much water available in Brahmaputra river, but there is no water in Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu. So why not transfer that water from Brahmaputra to Rajasthan? So Abdul Kalam was stunned. He said, how do I explain to the child that river is a state issue and the central government can't interfere? He says, I couldn't explain. But for the child, there was no problem. There is water, so much there. Just transfer that water here. Because the children, they operate on a possibility mindset. What is possible? What can be done? We should do this. Why can't this be done? How is Srila Prabhupada saying that, oh, you can chant whole day and you don't feel tired? How does this happen? When Srimad Bhagavatam says Krishna Katha will give complete happiness, how does that happen? I want to know. That is needed. Unfortunately, when we grow up, we abandon our possibility mindset, which we had as a child, and we develop a cynical mindset, suspicious mindset, dismissive mindset. We think all this is an exaggeration, and we don't grow. Therefore, this is a very, very important introduction to the Krishna Katha that we have discussed now. That we need to approach Srimad Bhagavatam in this mood. And then Srila Prabhupada says, when we have this mood, then the light of Srimad Bhagavatam becomes more luminous with progressive reading. I will repeat this sentence. Light of Srimad Bhagavatam becomes more luminous with progressive reading. As we read more, this becomes more and more clear. In fact, there is a very, very beautiful verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam which emphasizes this. That as we hear about Krishna, all the darkness and confusion goes away. Krishne swadamo upagate jnana dharma bihi saha kalo nashta drishamesha puranarko dhunodita. When Krishna left this world, all religious principles also abandoned this planet. Dharma jnana bihi saha. And there was darkness. Kalo nashta drishamesha. There was darkness of ignorance engulfing this planet. And at that moment, Puranarko Dhunodita, Krishna gave Srimad Bhagavatam, which dispelled all this darkness, which came like a sun. Arka means sun. Puran Arko Dhunodita. And therefore, this blindness was created in this planet when Krishna left. And this blindness and darkness will go when Srimad Bhagavatam comes. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the darkness is not simply the inability to see. Darkness is also referring to the inability to see beyond bodily identification. We all are strongly rooted in bodily identification. And our inability to see a reality beyond my body, beyond my life, that is also blindness. And when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, that darkness, that narrow-mindedness will also go away. So Srimad Bhagavatam is that scripture which will remove our parochial, narrow-minded thinking, which is centered on self, which is centered on I. And we will be able to explore and realize the beautiful reality beyond us. See, what I'm speaking may appear very theoretical sometimes, but Krishna is amazingly attractive. You know, it's not that only in Srimad Bhagavatam you find Krishna's descriptions. In fact, you will see that everywhere. Even in the 21st century, Krishna is very attractive. Recently, I was talking to His Holiness Srila Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, who is a dear friend of ours. And he was saying something which convinced me about Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam. He was distributing books in Paris, in the streets of Paris. And there, one boy approached him and said, "What is this book?" And he saw Krishna's photo in the front. And this boy said, "I know him. I know this boy." And this boy who approached Keshav Maharaj, he was a Muslim boy in Paris. And Keshav Maharaj said, "How do you know him?" He said, This boy said, well, you tell me, who is this person? He's in flute, standing. What is his name? So Keshav Maharaj said, his name is Krishna. And this boy said, yes, I know him. So Keshav Maharaj said, how do you know him? This boy said, I was in India some time ago. And I went to one remote place in India. I went to one temple. And there I saw him. So Keshav Maharaj said, which temple? Where? He said, you won't know. It's a remote place in India. It's a temple of Krishna. But it is called, there is not called Krishna. There is called Govinda. So Keshav Maharaj was intrigued. He said, which temple is this? Where did you see Govinda? He said, it's a place called Jaipur. So Keshav Maharaj said, Jaipur. He had gone to Radha Govinda temple. And he said, I went there early in the morning at 4:30 and there were thousands of people in the morning at 4:30 to see Govinda. And when I went in and I saw this, I was astounded. And since that day, my mind is captivated by this person called Govinda. And now what you're showing me looks so similar to this boy Govinda. And I just can't forget him. So just imagine a Muslim boy in Paris, Keshav Maharaj was saying, what is the probability that he would be captivated by Krishna? But that's what happened to him. I remember my own experience. I had gone to Moscow some years ago, and there I met a boy called Alex. And he and his mother had come to the temple. No, he was staying in the temple. He was in a saffron brahmachari. So I asked, he was telling me, he introduced me to his mother. And he said, my mother worships Tulsi plant every day. She is very dedicated to Krishna. And then I said, how did you guys become devotee? So Alex told me an interesting story. He said that he came to India. He said, the only place I knew in India was Goa. Why? Goa was very famous for its beaches. He says, in Moscow, the only place I knew in India was Goa, and it was famous for sense gratification. So with 3 of my friends, I came to Goa, and I said, let us go and enjoy in the Goan beaches. And when we were in Goa, after enjoying for a few days, we had to come back to Moscow, and we had to go to Bombay. So we decided to travel by road and explore the Indian coastal region, the Konkan region. He says, when they were traveling back to Mumbai, they went to one temple. He said, I went to one temple, Indian temple, and there I saw this deity of Krishna. I was captivated. And the priest there gave me khichdi. Now, he's saying, I know all of this now that it was khichdi. But that time, he told me this is a sacred food. And that tasted so amazing. And then ever since I came to Moscow back, I've been only thinking of that Krishna deity and that khichdi prasad. And I had no idea about God, nothing. And I carried on with my job. And then one day, one of my colleagues in the office gave me a Bhagavad Gita. And there I saw the same Krishna's photo. So as he was telling me this, I told him, which temple was this in Goa or where? Actually, I don't know how many of you know, Goa is a very holy place. Actually, Goa has beautiful temples, amazing, amazing Narasimhadev temples and Krishna temples. But that is not highlighted. That is also not known to many people. So he was fortunate that he got exposure to this beautiful temple. So he's saying, I don't know which temple it was. I don't know what place it was. But I know for sure it was Krishna, because when I saw Bhagavad Gita, I saw that photo of Krishna. I was captivated. And then I went online. I came to know there is a temple of Krishna in Moscow. I came there. It's a place called Dinamo, which was a stadium, and there was an ISKCON temple there. He came there and he joined the temple. And for the last 3 years, he had been chanting and preaching. And his mother also got captivated by Krishna. It's an amazing story, isn't it? This is how Krishna is attracting people everywhere. When I heard this Muslim boy's story and this Alex story, I was remembering this famous verse which Rupa Goswami composed. Smeram bangi traya parichitam sachi vistirna drishti vamsi nesto dara kishalayam Ujvalam Chandrakena Govindakyam Hari Tanumiya Keshi Tirtopakanthe Ma Prekshishthastava Sakhe Yadi Bandhu Sange Stri Range. Rupa Goswami is saying, one gopi is telling another gopi in Vrindavan, my dear friend, if you are attached to your family, friends and relatives, don't go to Keshi Ghat on the bank of Yamuna, because there is a threefold bending form of a boy who is standing there, who is as beautiful as a full moon, and he's playing his flute, and if you hear his flute, you will go crazy. So don't go there, you will forget everything. Basically, it's a very poetic way of saying, go to the bank of Yamuna at the Keshi Ghat. But instead of saying go there and see Krishna, very poetically saying don't go there if you're attached to your family. Which means Krishna is all captivating. Whether it is 550 years ago, Rupa Goswami writing that shloka in Vrindavan, or whether it is this Muslim boy in Paris or Alex in Russia, everywhere Krishna is all attractive. Recently, I was telling Rajaraman Prabhu about a video which a year and a half ago I received on WhatsApp, and I saved it and I watch it almost every few days. It's my favorite video. I don't know how many of you have seen this. It's a small video about 3 girls in Kerala in India. They are taking part in a singing contest. These are all young girls. They are not Hare Krishna devotees. They are simple Kerala Malayalam girls. They are taking part in a non-devotional contest, singing contest, where there is a very popular Malayalam song on Krishna, which is a traditional folk song. And in all the 3 different contests, so this is a clipping of 3 different singing contests with 3 different judge panel, 3 different set of participants, different audiences, different television channels. But all of them were a singing contest. And all of these shows, there was one girl in all the 3 shows, different girl of course, who sang that Krishna song. And in fact, one of those 3 girls was a Muslim girl. You are getting it? 3 different shows. And in all the shows, there was one girl who was singing this particular bhajan of Krishna, which is sung in which is I think 4-minute song. And the last 1 minute is a very high pitch you have to sing. Krishna, Krishna. I can't imitate. It's a very melodious way of taking the high pitch. And you have to chant Krishna very loudly. And all the 3 contestants, as they were singing in the last 1 minute Krishna's name loudly, that high pitch, all 3 of them, their voice choked up. Their eyes were filled with tears. All of them were crying. In fact, one of them was a Muslim girl with hijab. And she was also chanting this song. And at one point of time, she also, and when she ended, she was crying profusely. The judges were crying, the audience, their eyes were moist. What is this? Just try to understand. This is Krishna. When we chant Krishna's name innocently at the stage of Nama Bhavs, at the stage of innocent faith, when we want to receive Krishna, then it has an impact on our soul, because that is a crying of the soul. And these children are innocent and pure. So when children chant this, it immediately gives results. It immediately gives effect. So therefore, please don't underestimate. Of course, it's not simply children or Russians or Muslims who get attracted to Krishna. Actually, even animals get attracted to Krishna. Animals and birds. One of our ISKCON gurus, His Holiness Srila Janananda Swami Maharaj, he has written a book called Animals in Krishna Consciousness, where he writes so many stories of animals getting attracted to Krishna. In fact, I was witness. I come from Mumbai. We have a Govardhan Eco Village farm. And in our farm, we have a dog. And that dog is every day running for attending Mangalarati. He's wagging his tail at all the devotees. He just loves Krishna. Of course, he knows the etiquette. He doesn't enter the temple hall. But he comes every day for Mangalarati. So we have called him Mangal because he comes for Mangalarati. So even animals are attracted to Krishna. In Vrindavan, the bumblebees are attracted to Krishna. You know what the bumblebees do in Vrindavan? Buzz. and they're hovering around Krishna. 24/7. The bumblebee is called Ali in the Bhagavatam. Ali, not Muhammad Ali. There's one devotee in ISKCON called Ali Krishna Das, the devotee of Krishna, the bumblebee, the devotee of Krishna. So, the Bhagavatam describes how the bumblebee is hovering around Krishna and making this buzzing, this sound. Buzz. And Krishna looks at the bumblebee and he becomes very happy. Krishna approves of the bumblebee. Krishna doesn't get irritated. Just imagine if somebody is hovering around you, somebody is constantly around you, 24/7. Would you like it? You get irritated. Isn't it? But Krishna doesn't get irritated. Krishna loves it. Krishna is very happy with the bumblebee. In fact, it is said the bumblebee is more fortunate than the gopis and the gopas of Vrindavan, because Krishna's friends, coward boyfriends, they are with Krishna during the daytime, but when the sun sets, they come back and they feel separation from Krishna, and they're waiting for the sun to rise the next morning because Krishna is not there. They have to wait for 12 hours. And when Krishna goes with his friends to the forest, the gopis are crying because they can't see Krishna. So the gopis can't see Krishna during daytime and the gopas can't see Krishna during night time. So they are not with Krishna, but the bumblebee is always with Krishna even when Krishna is taking bath. They're hovering around, and Krishna is happy. That's how fortunate even the animals and birds and insects are in Vrindavan. In fact, the deer, I don't know if you have experienced deer in your life. Deers are very, they're very cowardly animals. They get immediately frightened when somebody comes close to them. But the deer, along with their wives, they run to see Krishna in Vrindavan. And you know what the deer speciality is? They're not able to sing beautiful poetry for Krishna. They're not able to dance like the peacocks. The peacocks dance for Krishna's pleasure. But the deer can't dance. They can't even sing poetry. How do they express love to Krishna? Dhanyasma mudagatayo piharinyayeta yananda nandanamupata vichitra vesham akarnya venuranitam sah Krishna sara pujam dadur virechitam pranayavaloke. The gopi is telling another gopi in the Venu Geet that look at the deer. They are such blessed animals. They come with their wives to see Krishna. Akarnya venuranitam sah Krishna sara. When Krishna plays his flute, all the deer come running to see Krishna. And they worship Krishna. How? Pujam dadur virechitam pranayavaloke. Simply by looking at Krishna, they offer love. And Krishna, looking at their eyes, understands that they love him. And Krishna reciprocates with them. So the point is, even the animals love Krishna in Vrindavan. Everybody loves Krishna. And therefore, this is the mood of Vrindavan. And if we have this mood of innocence, in the sense we are receptive, we don't have a defense mechanism on, we are not filtering everything through our false ego, we just allow Krishna Katha to enter our ear holes and then our heart. If we do that, we will also have the same effect. Our hearts will also be captivated by Krishna. Therefore the Bhagavatam says, Krishna is the sun that rises. Krishna Sadamopagate. Puran Arkho, it's a sun that removes all darkness. There is one lecture of Srila Prabhupada I was hearing. It's given on November 4th, 1973 in Bombay. It's an amazing, amazing class. Srila Prabhupada is speaking on this principle. That how Bhagavatam, how Krishna Katha helps. He says that, now this is Bombay 1974, okay? Srila Prabhupada says, see, all the audience are all Indian, Gujaratis in Bombay, Patels, they're all sitting in the audience. And Srila Prabhupada knows how to attract them to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says, just now I'm coming from American Express Bank. I got 15 lakh rupees from America. Now this is 1974, 15 lakh I'm sure was a big deal. And he's saying, I got 15 lakh rupees from America. These American boys and girls are giving me money. Why? They have everything in their country. But why are they coming to Krishna? Because they are not happy. They may have everything, but the darkness is still there because Krishna is not there. When Krishna comes, then real happiness comes. And I was reflecting on it, how if you see many countries in Europe and even in US, I'm sure there are many states where sun doesn't rise for a long time. But you'll see that light is abundantly available. There is electricity, there are baseball, football matches happening with floodlights, right? Stadiums have light, houses have light. But sun is not there. What happens when there is no sun? There is a disease called SAD, SAD, seasonal affective disorder. 48 to 55% of the population where sun doesn't appear for many days at a stretch, all those places have more than 50% of the population suffering from seasonal affective disorder. And the irony is, all these places have abundant light. They are very advanced countries. There is a lot of light in these countries. But all the light cannot replace sun. Similarly, Prabhupada says that all these Western countries have a lot of money, a lot of wealth. They have facilities. But there is no Krishna. And that's why there is a vacuum. There is sadness. In fact, when I never came to US, I used to think the devotees in America must be very happy compared to the devotees in India. But last year I traveled to 25 cities in 30 days. And I interacted with many devotees. And I realized, wow, they are as miserable as devotees in India, if not more. And then I got the realization that, well, when they left India, they packed a lot of suitcases. One of the suitcases, they also packed suffering in that suitcase and came to America. So you can't. Only when there is Krishna in our lives, then there can be peace. Otherwise, material world is stamped by Krishna, dukkhalayam, ashashvatam. So while explaining this, Srila Prabhupada said, people have money, people have houses, still they are not happy because the sunlight of Krishna has not entered their life. Then he says, the problem with Indians is, there is sun. In India, you will see there is a lot of sun. He said they are also miserable because they have put curtain in the house and they have put a cloth on their eyes and they refuse to see the sun. And Srila Prabhupada says, open the curtain, open the cloth from your eyes and see the sun. And we say, no, where is the sun? We say, first show me the sun, then I will open the curtain. No, you have to open the curtain, you have to see the sun. Similarly, Indians have Krishna. The Bhagavatam is there in India. It's part of Indian culture. But, what is the big but? We refuse. We lack the humility. We lack the willingness. So therefore, we may have Srimad Bhagavatam, but we don't accept because we are suffering from cataract. Therefore, two things are needed to experience Krishna. One is Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the sun. And second, the humility to receive and see the sun. Indians need humility. Westerners need Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what Srila Prabhupada was saying in that class in 1974. Therefore, in our prayers, how do we begin the class? Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Nama. We pray, Krishna, please remove this darkness from my eyes. Remove the cataract from my eyes. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada would often give the example of Sanatana Goswami, who was the Prime Minister of Bengal. Very learned man, very powerful man, the Prime Minister. Prabhupada says he had a boat full of gold coins. He was so wealthy, so learned. But when he meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Gramya Vyavara Pandita Kori Mani Apanara Hita Kichuhi Na Jani. Everybody calls me a great Pandit, but I am such a fool that I believe them. I don't know what is the goal of life. Apanara Hita Kichuhi Na Jani. Ke ami kene amar jaratapatre. Who am I? What is the goal of my life? Therefore, we can't be stubborn. And Bhagavatam will never be revealed to us. So therefore, let us be open-minded as we receive Krishna into our lives. Let us have a curiosity mindset. Let us have a possibility mindset. And in this mood, let us enter Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we will discover Krishna as the most merciful and most loving. And then life would become a refreshing experience. So I invite you to enter Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, 10th chapter, where Krishna is now going to deliver and reveal his mercy and loving nature to two Gandharvas, two beautiful personalities who are bound in the body of a tree, the Yamalarjuna trees. Now we need to give a context to this pastime. Before this, in the 9th chapter, Shukdev Goswami says that Krishna has been bound by Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda has bound Krishna. Krishna, who is Krishna? The Supreme Lord. But his mother, look at this, how powerful his mother must be. God's mother, she has bound Krishna. And after she's bound him, Krishna is tied, and there Shukdev Goswami makes a loud proclamation about a devotee of Krishna. What is his position? He says, Evam sandarshito anga harina vrityavashyata swavashenapi krishnena yasyedam sheshwaram vashe. He says, my dear Parikshit Maharaj, Krishna has been bound by Mother Yashoda to declare to the world that Harina Vrityavashyata, that Lord is controlled by his devotee. Otherwise, how do you explain God being bound by a simple woman? This simple woman is the greatest devotee of Krishna. So Krishna is bound by the ropes of love of Mother Yashoda. Swavashenapi Krishnena, Shukdev Goswami says, nobody can control Krishna. Krishna can be controlled only by himself. Yasyedam Sheshwaram Vashe. Brahma cannot control him. Lord Shiva cannot control him. And still he is bound by Mother Yashoda. Because he is Vrityavashyata. Krishna is controlled by his devotee. This is one of the most beautiful qualities of our Krishna. And that is why Srimad Bhagavatam invites us to have a relationship with Krishna. In most religions, God is presented as somebody who controls all of us. But Bhakti literatures present a process by which you could love God so much that a devotee could eventually control the Lord. And then, while glorifying Mother Yashoda, Shukdev Goswami says that this simple woman, Yashoda, what is her position? Nemam virincho na bhavo na shrirap anga samshaya prasadam lebire gopi yattat prapya vimuktidat. This woman got that which Brahma and Shiva have not got. Nemam virincho na bhavo na, and also Shri, Goddess Lakshmi, who is personally touching Lord Vishnu and massaging his feet. She also did not get that. What Mother Yashoda has got? What is that? She's actually binding Krishna. Prasada lebire gopi. What is the prasad she got? Etat prapya vimuktidat. Mukti means liberation. But she got vimukti, which is higher than liberation, which is pure bhakti. So like this, Shukdev Goswami is glorifying Mother Yashoda, and finally he says, why Mother Yashoda is so special and how all of us can become like that, very special, only if we move from the I space to Krishna's space. Right now, we approach God, but we approach him in the mood that I want something. Mother Yashoda is different because she approaches Krishna not for herself, she approaches Krishna for pleasing Krishna. What does Krishna want? When we have that mood, then the whole game changes. Our spiritual life completely changes. Because we come to spiritual life thinking very foolishly that if I worship Krishna, if I serve Krishna, I will be happy. Right? If I serve Krishna, I will be happy. Mother Yashoda says things, if I serve Krishna, Krishna will be happy. There is a very, very big paradigm shift here. So if we want to also reach that level of bhakti, then we also need to have this paradigm, at least for some time in a day. What will please Krishna? And therefore, Sukadeva Goswami says, the happiness that Mother Yashoda experienced, Nayam Sukhapo Bhagavan, Dehinam Gopika Suta, Jnaninam Chatma Bhutanam, Yata Bhakti Matamya. The happiness which Mother Yashoda experienced, the Jnanis and Yogis cannot experience. Nobody can experience. Only by pure bhakti we can experience. Please understand, you have come to a very, very special place, an ISKCON temple, where we teach how to live in the Krishna or God space. What is religion? All the Semitic religions, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, all religions teach us, even Hinduism to a great extent. They all teach us to worship God for our needs, right? God, give us our daily bread. Even that the prayer. Basically, we are always thinking God is busy solving my problem. That is why God exists. But when you come to Hare Krishna, you realize whether you have problem or you have no problem, God is going to do his pastimes. Do you see a big difference here? Many people can't imagine, if God is not busy solving my problem, what is God doing? What is the basis of it? He exists because I have problems. We can't conceive of a reality beyond ourselves because we live in the I space. Religion for most people is I space. But spiritual realizations come when we live in God space, when we live in a reality beyond ourselves. And here you see Krishna, because Mother Yashoda is living in the God space, she has reached such a level that she has bound Krishna. Krishna is bound, and we are also bound. We are bound by the ropes of our desires, material desires. So our challenge is to become free of these desires and become free from these ropes of material desires. And after we become free, we again want to become bound by the rope of desire to serve Krishna. Pure devotees are bound by that rope. They want to always serve Krishna. And they are running around saving the conditioned souls. Tektva sudushtija surep sitara jalakshmim dharmishta arya vachasa yadagadharanyam maya sukam daita epsita anvadhavad vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. The Srimad Bhagavatam explains even a pure devotee is bound by this desire of love for the Lord, and is running around catching conditioned souls, giving them Krishna. But just like Krishna is bound by Mother Yashoda, Jai Shri Shri Radha Neel Madhav Bhagwan ki Jai, Pita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai, Shri Lakshmi Narsimha Dev Bhagwan ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Bhagwan ki Jai. Just like Krishna is bound, a pure devotee is bound. So now this chapter has ended, the 9th chapter, and now we enter this chapter where Krishna, who is bound by Mother Yashoda, decides to crawl out of the house and save two very special beings who are bound to the body of a tree. Krishna decides to liberate them, and Parikshit Maharaj is astonished. How can great personalities be bound to a tree? And here, one of the most amazing contradictions of Krishna is revealed. You know, Krishna is a lot of contradictions. This is one of the most amazing contradictions in Krishna. What are some of the contradictions in Krishna you see? Krishna, you know what he had done? With the small finger of his left hand, he lifted Govardhan. What power he must be having. But same Krishna in Vrindavan, when the fruit seller came, Krishna could not carry the grains to give her. Krishna couldn't even hold the fruits properly. Even the grains which he was carrying for her were slipping from his fingers. What an amazing, beautiful contradiction. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is holding Govardhan, but he can't hold the grains. And this is what captivates a devotee's heart. Another amazing contradiction of Krishna is known as Lakshmipati. Lakshmipati means one who is the husband of the goddess of fortune. That means how much money he will have. But the same Krishna is also known in Vrindavan as a thief. Now, if somebody has a lot of money, he will not steal. But Krishna is famous for being a thief, although he is Lakshmipati. What a beautiful contradiction. Vraje prasiddham navanita choram gopangananam chadukula choram aneka janmarjita papa choram chauragraganyam purusham namami. He's chore number one. He's the greatest thief. So he is Lakshmipati, and he steals butter. What is the need for the wealthiest person to steal butter? And he's glorified for it. Do you know any wealthy man who will be glorified for being a thief? Like in our India, Mukesh Ambani is one of the wealthiest men. So during the annual general meeting, the shareholders meeting, the chairman of the Reliance Industries is being introduced. Will any speaker ever introduce him as, this is Mr. Mukesh Ambani? He's a very well-known personality. And when he was a young boy in school, he used to steal pencils and pens. Nobody will introduce a big man for being a thief during his childhood. But Krishna is Lakshmipati, but his fame is he is stealing butter. And Krishna is also another amazing quality of Krishna is, the Bhagavatam says, death is afraid of Krishna. Wow. We are afraid of death, right? But death is afraid of Krishna. Yakaschanesho balinontako ragat prachanda vegat abhidhavato brisham bhitam prapannam pratipati yadbhayan mrityu pradhavat aranam tamimahi. Gajendra is offering this prayer that the serpent of time is chasing me and I am running. Just visualize this dramatic chase. A serpent called time is chasing us and we are running. And what happens? Prachanda vegat, very fast the chase is going on. Bhitam prapannam pratipati adbhayan, and we come running to Krishna. Krishna, help me, this serpent is chasing me. And as soon as we come in front of Krishna, Krishna looks at the serpent and the serpent turns around and starts running away. And Krishna starts chasing that serpent. That serpent is compared to death. That's how powerful Krishna is. But the same Bhagavatam reveals that Krishna, from whom death is afraid, this Krishna is afraid of whom? Gopya dade tvai kritaga siddha mathavat yate dashashru kalilanjana samramaksham vaktram niniya bhaya bhavanaya stitasya samam vimohayati bhirapi yad bibheti. Kunti Devi is saying, I'm bewildered. Look at this, Krishna, death, fear, time is afraid of you. And you are afraid of a simple gopi, Yashoda, and you are running in fear of her and you are breathing heavily and the black mascara, the ointment is become wet because of your tears and you are breathing heavily and you are crying. And I am bewildered by this. This is another amazing contradiction of Krishna. So what is the first contradiction? Krishna's finger, he lifts Govardhan, but he can't hold the grains. Second contradiction is Lakshmipati, but he steals butter. Third, death is afraid of him, but he is afraid of a simple gopi. And the fourth is, in Vrindavan, Krishna kills demons, but he is defeated by simple boys. When they wrestle, and Krishna gets defeated by them. In fact, after killing Aghasur, some of the boys said, hey, if this is our Krishna, or is there some spirit entered him, or somebody else has come as Krishna in disguise, let us check. Is this our Krishna, or is somebody else? So Sridhama said, so Krishna said, let us find out. They grabbed Krishna and they said, Krishna, let us wrestle. So they had a wrestling match. And Krishna lost. And then Sridhama said, he's our Krishna only, normal. We can defeat him. So this is Krishna. And then another amazing contradiction of Krishna is, Krishna stole the clothes of the gopis of Vrindavan. But same Krishna provided unlimited cloth. To whom? Agre kuruna mata pandavanam Dushasane Rutavastra Kesha Krishna Tadakroshadhananyanatha Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. When Dushasan was pulling the cloth and the hair of Draupadi, she called out to Krishna and Krishna provided unlimited sari for her. Like this, Krishna has many, many qualities of contradictory qualities. One of his amazing qualities is contradiction is he's mugdha, he's bewildered, he's confused, he's crying. But Krishna is also known as Sarvagya. He knows everything. He knows what you have prayed 10 years ago. He knows what is there in the heart of an ant in your room. And he knows what a giant elephant in Africa, what is the past life of that elephant. Krishna knows everything. He is Sarvagya. But he is also Mugdha. He is also bewildered. Another contradiction of Krishna, Krishna killed Putana. And after killing her, generally when you kill someone, you kill. But Krishna gave her the position of a nurse. He gave her the, what an amazing quality. He kills Putana but gives her liberation. He gives her the position of a mother. Aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jigam samapayadapya sadhavi lebe gatim datri uchitam tatonyam kamba dayalum sharanam vrajema. Uddhava is saying, wow, who can be more merciful than Krishna? That somebody who came to kill him, he is giving her the position of a nurse. In fact, the Acharyas explained that when Krishna was leaving this world, when he was shot by that arrow of Jara, he called out to his mother in great anticipation. Just like if you are hit by something, you will immediately say, Mummy. You'll call out to your mom. So Krishna called out, Mother. And 3 mothers appeared there. Devaki, Yashoda, and Putana also came there. Krishna is amazing contradiction. And another amazing contradiction of Krishna is Krishna was bound by Mother Yashoda by the rope. But Krishna releases Nalakuver and Manigriv who are bound. Krishna is bound, but he releases somebody else who is bound. Actually, after Janmashtami, I presented these 8 contradictions of Krishna. And then one devotee he texted me WhatsApp. He messaged me some more contradictions of Krishna. Then I also messaged, and then I said we could one day sit together and write 108 contradictions of Krishna. There is so much we can discuss on Krishna. So all these contradictions, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, get resolved if you understand one quality of Krishna. When we remember one quality of Krishna, then all contradictions of Krishna get resolved. What is that quality? Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. He loves his devotees. Because he loves his devotees, he allows all these contradictions to happen. Because for his devotees, he does all of this. So he gives an example, beautiful example, of how a bumblebee enters a lotus flower to get nectar. And when the bumblebee enters the lotus flower, it gets so busy taking the nectar, the bumblebee doesn't realize that the petals of the lotus flower close. The petals of the lotus are very soft. The bumblebee has so much power that it can penetrate hard wood. Daru bheda nipunopi shadangrir nishkriya bhavati pankaja koshe. Bumblebee has so much power that if it wants, it can penetrate wood, but the soft petals of a lotus close. Why? The bumblebee is busy getting nectar from that lotus. He forgets to penetrate the soft petals of a lotus flower. Similarly, Krishna is like that bumblebee. And that lotus flower is compared to the heart of a devotee. Krishna enters the heart of a devotee and gets so much nectar there. Devotee loves Krishna so much. Krishna gets so busy tasting that love. That his knowledge gets covered. His knowledge of Godhood, knowledge of being Supreme Personality of Godhead, all that gets covered. And Krishna forgets his Godhood. He gives up his position of Godhood and is busy enjoying the nectar. And that's why all these contradictions happen. And therefore, Shukdev Goswami, he is so astounded. He says, he declares at the end of the chapter that who is this Brajavasis? How can somebody love God so much? Yat padapam sur bahujanma krichrato dhritatma biryogi birapalabhyaha saeva yadrig vishaya swayam stita kim varnyate yaddishtam aho vrajau kasam. He says, how can I describe the fortune of these Brajavasis? They have got what great Gyanis and great yogis cannot get. The Supreme Lord is standing in front of them like an ordinary child. Wow, wow, Sukadeva Goswami is in ecstasy. And after hearing all of this, Parikshit Maharaj expresses wonder. How can this God be bound? And how can these great personalities be bound to a tree? What sin did they commit? How did they get cursed to be trees? How can great Gandharvas become trees? I want to know more. I want to know. Please tell me details. Parikshit Maharaj is not bored. He has been hearing Bhagavatam for the last 3 days and 3 nights. He is not desperate to finish the class. And he is happy. He is hearing. And he wants to know more. So Sukadeva Goswami is now going to explain how, just like Mother Yashoda had bound Krishna, there is one more devotee who has bound Krishna. Who is that devotee? Krishna is not just bound by Mother Yashoda. He is also bound by another devotee. And that devotee is Narada Muni. And how he bound Krishna, what happened exactly, who are these trees and why were they cursed and how were they delivered and what Krishna did, all of this we will discuss in our next class. But today I want to share with you 2 very important points right now. One is practically experiencing Krishna in our life. We will do tomorrow a workshop where we will understand gratitude and its practice and experience at different levels. So I request all of you to come at 7:30 sharp with some paper and pen where we will do some exercise and we'll also have a teamwork and you will actually experience the power of gratitude and a relationship with Krishna. So I request all of you to come for that tomorrow. And today, regarding what we have discussed in today's class, the whole focus today has been to hear about Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, and to know that if we do this, the light of Bhagavatam will remove the darkness of our lives. And for that, we need to be attentive, we need to be present. Just like these children were crying Krishna's names, I was giving the example of this contest, and they experienced emotions for Krishna. If we are also attentive in our practices, if we are attentive in our reading, hearing, and chanting, we will also experience emotions for Krishna. Because this Bhagavatam was written at a very intense absorption in Krishna. I want to end with this pastime of Srila Prabhupada. I think I've spoken this year last year, but this is my favorite pastime. Srila Prabhupada was writing Bhagavatam commentary in San Francisco, and middle of the night, he would write from midnight 12:30 to morning 6. That's the time he would write. And at 1:30 in the night, one girl knocks on the door. And Srila Prabhupada opens the door. And he sees a young girl who is completely bewildered and lost. And she's staring at Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, "Who are you? Why have you come to disturb me? I'm translating Bhagavatam." And this girl is just staring. And Srila Prabhupada says, "Leave me alone. Go away. What do you want?" And this girl, she raises her hand and she shouts, "Hoo, la, 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 la," like that. Prabhupada is shocked. What is this girl doing? So he says, so Prabhupada understands immediately this girl is high on drugs. That's why she's shouting like this. So Srila Prabhupada closes the door. But as soon as he closes the door, this girl comes inside the house. So when she comes inside, Srila Prabhupada being a sannyasi, you're not supposed to be alone with the woman in an apartment. Srila Prabhupada, out of defense mechanism, he immediately comes out of the house. When he comes out of the house, this girl also comes out of the house. But she pulls the door. When she pulls the door gets, it's a self-locking door. The door gets locked. And Srila Prabhupada and this girl are out at 1:30 in the night. San Francisco, it's so cold. And Srila Prabhupada doesn't know where to go. And he looks at the girl and says, "What stupid girl, what have you done? We are locked." And she looks at Prabhupada and shouts, "Hoo la 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 la." She's got big eyes. She's high on drugs. She doesn't know what she's saying. And Srila Prabhupada goes here and there and she's just following Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada starts thinking, where do I get a key now? I'm locked out of the house. Then he remembers Mukunda stays somewhere close by and he has a key. But where is Mukunda staying? Which apartment? Which building? And he's walking in the streets of San Francisco at late in the night and this girl is following him. This mad girl is following him. And finally and you can't go to any house and knock and find out if that is Mukunda's house. You don't do that in the middle of the night. But finally Srila Prabhupada finds out Mukunda's house. He asks him for a spare key and Mukunda is shocked to see this girl next to Srila Prabhupada. And he tells her, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you harassing our Swamiji? And she again shouts, "Hoo la la la." That's how intoxicated she was. Srila Prabhupada Mukunda gets Srila Prabhupada to the house. He opens the door and then he drives away that girl. This whole episode lasts 1.5 hours. After 1.5 hours, if this incident happened to you and you come back to the room exhausted, what would you do? You would get knocked out. But you know what Srila Prabhupada did? He went back to translation as if nothing had happened. That is how absorbed he was. And then after writing for some more hours, in the morning Srila Prabhupada came down to give class and is sitting in front of devotees. It is Radha Madhav and he opens his eyes and devotees are sitting in the class. And lo and behold, that girl is also sitting in the class. But she is more sober because the effect of the drug had worn off. It was morning. She was sitting. Srila Prabhupada spontaneously, this is not rehearsed. This shows Srila Prabhupada's compassion, fearlessness, his sense of humor. Srila Prabhupada looks at her and spontaneously, Prabhupada looks at that girl and recognizes it is the same girl who came last night. And immediately Srila Prabhupada looks at her, smiles, and Prabhupada says, "Hoo la 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 la." That means Srila Prabhupada had such a sense of humor, he could not get affected. We would have made a big issue out of it, right? This is compassion of Srila Prabhupada. That means he was so absorbed in Krishna. He was experiencing Krishna. And therefore, he could not get bewildered by what's happening around. If we have to be happy in our lives, we need to experience Krishna. And one way of experiencing Krishna is by hearing about Krishna. Because only when we hear, then we'll be able to remember Krishna. You can't remember Krishna if you don't know about him, right? If I tell you, all of us will now sit and remember Lagos in Nigeria or Nairobi in Kenya. Let us remember Nairobi. You will say, "Prabhuji, I've never seen Nairobi. Tell me about the place." First, you need to know, right? You can't remember someone or imagine some place if you don't have any experience of it. Similarly, Krishna, to remember Krishna is the greatest happiness. But to remember Krishna, the first step is to hear. Smaranam is preceded by Shravanam. And that's what we have done today. Tomorrow, we will do Smaranam. We will do a practice of gratitude and connect with Krishna at different levels. So, and then Monday and Tuesday we'll continue our discussion where we'll discuss how Krishna performs sweet pastimes not only in Vrindavan, but also in Kurukshetra. And Kurukshetra, what Krishna does in the battlefield is very, very amazing. How he does politics. That aspect of Krishna also we will see. So we'll discuss about Krishna over the next 4 days. I want to sincerely thank you for attending today's class. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any comments or questions regarding today's class?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very nice class. My question is for yesterday's class.
Okay.
You mentioned a point that the person mostly lives in the past or in the future and very little on the present. I feel this applies on me. How shall I improve?
How to live in the present?
Yeah.
How to live in the present? You live in the present by living in the present. These how to questions are very common. Anything you say in ISKCON, the question comes how. So if I say you live in the present by being mindful, you'll say how to be mindful. I'll say do breathing. You'll say how to breathe. Then if I say, okay, you breathe by closing your eyes, count till the 4, count of 4, then exhale to the count of 4. Then you'll say, but Prabhu, mind wanders so much. How to control the mind while breathing? I'll say, okay, you control the mind by chanting Hare Krishna. Then you'll say, but Prabhu, how to chant Hare Krishna? I'll say, you chant Hare Krishna by being present and mindful. Then you'll say, Prabhu, how to become present? You see what is happening? The whole cycle. So it's never-ending cycle of how to. But still, there is some things you could do. You could be, to live in the present, you need to first become mindful of what you are doing. Like for example, when you are seeing something, when you're taking darshan, when you're eating prasadam, don't do multitasking, just be present. Like for example, right now, it's a 3-second exercise. I'll give you a question and just you have to answer it for 3 seconds. Open your eyes and be present as you see around and grab or be attentive to the sights, different sights that you see. You saw some things? Were you present when you saw? Was it difficult? No. Okay, the next 3 seconds. What are the sounds you hear? What are the different sounds you heard? That's the only sound you heard? Anything else you heard? Anything else? I didn't speak. How could you hear me speaking? When I said, for the next 3 seconds here, what did you hear? What all can you hear? I heard my own breath. So if you are attentive, present, you can hear a lot of things. Okay. In the next 3 seconds, identify what sensations are you feeling in your body. What did you feel? I felt an itching in my ankle. I felt a little discomfort on my lower back. So if you are present, you feel, right? Sensations in the body. You see things around you. You hear. Okay. 3 seconds. What do you smell? I can smell the rose. Not faint, very faint, because it was on my body for so long. So like that, when you are present, then your mind is not wandering anywhere. Right? When you are present, does your mind wanders? When you are present? No. So how to not live in the past and future, be in the present. How to be in the present? Don't be in the past and future, be in the present. So mindfulness is a practice. So when we are chanting Hare Krishna, we need to be present. Constantly filling the gaps, constantly, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that. If you're always living there in that space, then you'll never be in the present. Never. And others may glorify, oh, you're always doing so much work. Yeah, but if you're always seeking to fill the gaps, then even when the gap is filled, you will be miserable because you will still create another gap. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like one devotee, he says whole week he's thinking, he's busy, he's solving so many problems in office, at home. He says, Prabhuji, I'm only looking forward. I'm miserable solving so many problems whole week. I feel okay. On Sunday I will come to temple and I'll feel happy. But when I come to temple on Sunday, and those 4-5 hours I'm in temple, I'm not present. I'm only, because whole week I have been thinking of doing something else. I've never been in the present. So when I come to temple also, I'm not present. I'm planning for Monday's office work. I'm planning what groceries to buy. We always live in the future or in the past. So as you are doing solving so many problems, when you come to temple, you need to think my problem is now solved. I have reached my destination. You are on a journey. But sometime, at least in a day, you should need to feel that I have now completed my journey. I have reached. The journey is over. There is nothing to achieve now. There is nothing to do now. You have to enter the state of being, B-E, be. Not do, D-O. We are human being. We are not human doing. We are constantly doing. And that's why we are miserable. We are not able to live in the present because we're always doing. And doing culture is glorified. Being is not glorified. So you need to at least spend some time doing nothing or being in a state where there is nothing to achieve. There is no gap to fulfill. There is no discrepancy. The discrepancy monitor is not on. There is nothing. You have achieved what you need to achieve. But if you say, hey Prabhuji, but I want to become pure devotee, you are already pure. You have reached now. Relax. There's nothing to achieve now. Just be present with the holy name. Just be here. So if you feel incomplete always, then you'll never be present. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sadhu Dandavat Pranam. First of all, thank you very much your pravachan. Thank you very much for your pravachan and all shloka, charants, so full of love and so graceful. May God bless us, listen it again and again. So Prabhuji, my question is like how Krishna's Swabha or whatever we call, like who gives Putna may also the mukti of like mother. So how saints or define this, like this, what caused it to give it, or how they define this compassion or something in detail, like means it's difficult to define, but like what exactly means, like I would say it's difficult for me to even ask it, but yeah, like Putna Mai, Krishna gave this mukti and like mother. So means I want to understand more like what Krishna was thinking, or like how saints has defined like what Krishna was thinking, or in detail like that is
You are asking, how do we understand Krishna giving liberation to Putana who came to kill him?
killing, yeah, and like what was going on his mind, and means we know it's compassion and his kindness and all that, but more detail like how.
See, Krishna, you are asking how can Krishna give liberation to somebody who came to kill him? Right? What is Krishna?
Not questioning Krishna.
Not questioning,
Like,
not challenging,
yeah,
but
we
you are
can't
wondering.
imagine.
You are wondering.
Yeah, wondering and not.
How can Krishna do this?
Yeah, not
Somebody
able
has
to
come to
understand.
kill Krishna, and Krishna is giving them liberation, right?
Like mother.
Like mother. So why? Because she came in the dress of a mother. So Krishna's speciality is when somebody has a bad intention, but good action. You know, sometimes there's a difference between intention and action. Do you know this? Intention may be very bad. Putana's intention was very bad. But what was the action? What was the action? Motherly. Came as a mother. So when somebody's intention is bad, but action is good, Krishna will accept the action. Sometimes somebody's action is bad, but intention is good. Any example? Bhishma. Bhishma's action was bad. He joined Kauravas. But if intention was good, he loved Krishna. He loved the Pandavas. So what did Krishna accept when the intention is good but action is bad? Krishna accepts what? Intention. When intention is bad and action is good, what Krishna accepts? Action. That is how compassionate Krishna is. When both action is bad and intention is bad, what does Krishna do? Like example, Kaliya. Krishna forgives as soon as a person seeks forgiveness. Like Brahma, Indra, Kaliya, Krishna forgave them. So, Krishna is most merciful. Krishna is most kind because he wants us to come back to him. So this is Krishna is teaching us how we also need to forgive each other. We also live with devotees. We also have forgiveness issues. Krishna is so kind. He's always forgiving. It's an amazing example, isn't it? Intention, action, Krishna. See, this is Krishna's swabhav. You can't say why. It's like, what is the swabhav of a cake? Everybody's eaten cake in life. What is cake? Is it salty or sugary? Sweet. Sweet. So you eat the cake, top, bottom, left, right, morning, evening, in the fridge, outside the fridge. Cake will always be sweet, right? Cake is always sweet. It is not salty. Krishna is compassionate. Krishna's swabhav, that cannot be changed. Just like sugar is sweet, chili is hot, water is liquid, Krishna is compassionate. Is that okay? Hare Krishna. We'll stop? Yes. Thank you very much for attending today's first session on Merciful and Loving Krishna. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.